Alright, so this video is going to cover this object-oriented Squareshapes program. And so the idea is, and I'll draw it out, we'll have a superclass called Squareshapes. The Squareshapes will have a name, and they'll have a setarea method, and I believe a getname method, and a getmessage. Setarea getmessage. Okay, and from that I can create a square. I can create a rectangle. Then I can create a cube. Okay, so I've got my different objects, square, rectangle, and cube, and each one of these will inherit the information from above, and we'll write the code in the superclass, and the subclasses or the objects will inherit all the information to them. Okay, so let's do this. So we'll do Squareshapes, then we'll say cube rectangle and I want square first, I don't want cube. Okay, now what I need to do is I need to go in this header, right click, and say add. I'm gonna add a class. Let me make sure this is okay. So I'm gonna call it Squareshapes. I'll say okay. Now, so this is my Squareshapes class. Now you need to make sure that this is the same name as this, Squareshapes, okay? Alright, so we'll start creating this header file. Alright, so first thing we got to do, and I always forget this, and I've spent hours before researching how to fix this, and so put in the include string up there. Then we'll do include the IO stream, so we can use couts. Okay, so we got the shape. Okay, so then I need to do what? Using name space. Okay, so we're going to have Squareshapes that accepts a string name. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to make these public, make my methods public, and make my variables private. So I'm going to say string name, and I'm definitely going to do an area. Okay, so I've got my So the constructor only gets called once, and it gets called when your object's being created. So let's create our objects here real quick. So we're going to say Squareshapes, and then I did this wrong. I need to do square. That's going to be my object name, square. This will be my rectangle, and this will be my cube object. Okay, so they're going to accept a string, which is going to be their name. Okay, so it gets accepted right there. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to do void setarea. Now these are going to be called overloaded functions. And I'll show you why they're overloaded. Do an int getarea. Do a string getname. We'll do a string getmessage. So for a square, in order to get the area, you just need one side because squares have equal sides. So your area function will be what? The length times the length equals the area, so 2 times length. This one will be the rectangle is going to be the length times the width, and the area for a cube is length times width times height. Okay, so that takes care of that. Now we want to make sure, okay, we did that here, and so that has that, it includes that. And then let's also do pound include the string, pound include the IO stream. Okay, there's that. And then we also want to make sure that we're going to include it in here too. Pound include Squareshapes.h. Okay, so there's still errors because we got to do, and then we have the header done, but we need to actually do the class. So let's start building this class. So we'll do a couple different things here. We're gonna do what, using space. All right, so now we can actually start square. So we got our square shapes, and this is going to be our constructor. It's going to accept in a string, and I'm just going to call it new name, and I'll say name equals new name. And then I'm also going to assign my area to 0 in here. So constructors, you can initialize your variables. Alright, so the next one I'm doing, so I'm going to do all of these. I'm just going to copy all of these in so I know which ones I'm going to do. Okay, so this is going to be area equals length times length. This is going to be what? Area equals length times width. And I'll come back to that area error. I don't think it's an error. I just think it needs to get updated. I might be wrong. Let's see. Okay. So this will be what? Return area. And I'm not doing this right. I need to put class name ahead of this. Okay. And this will return the name. And my message is going to be a little bit different. The way I wrote it is I just want to show you return getname plus area is, and I'll end it there. So we'll get the name and it'll say, you know, square area is, and then we'll get it from the main. All right, so that went away. Okay, yeah, it updated that area. That's good. So I think this is all good. Now I just need to, you know, start setting my you know, I could say square dot set area, and I could pass in, let's just do 5. So 5 times 5 is 25. Then I could say rectangle dot set area, and I'll do 5 and 10, so that would give me 50. And then I'll say cube dot set area, which would be what? Let's say 5, 5, and 5. So 5 times 5 is 25 times 5 again is 125. And I'll do square dot get message. And then right here I could do square dot get area. End it. And it's a square, I would say what? Rectangle here. Rectangle. Cube. All right, so how does it know which area to call here? Because again, these are overloaded. Well, this has 1 parameter, this has 2 parameters, and this has 3 parameters. So the one with 1 parameter calls the set area with 1 parameter. The one with 2 parameters calls the one with 2 parameters, and then the 3 parameters calls one with 3 parameters. All right. So they'll call each of these, and since each object has its own area, like I see, I probably don't have it in here anymore. It probably got erased, but yep. So, but if you go back to that and you were to rewind it, that diagram that I created at the very beginning of the class structure, each object, it inherits all the information from Squareshapes, so it has its own area variable, and so it can get the message. So get the message right here. And this one calls getname, and it returns the name from getname. So it'd be like square area is, or cube area is, or whatever. And then, the square calls getarea, rectangle get. Okay, so let's see if it works. It should be fine. Like I said, it was a 25, 50, and 125. 25, 50, 125. So it works. So anyway, the biggest things, are kind of little. Make sure that you got your headers in here. Make sure you got this string and you got IOStream. if you don't have that, you get weird errors. Let's see if this one. I guess that one didn't need it, but I guarantee you the other one did. Let's see here. Let's get rid of that and see. I don't know, maybe bug rebuild. Sometimes you actually have to rebuild it instead of just compile it. Huh. I don't know. I've gotten errors on these when I was programming it, and it doesn't. I don't know why that's not working or why that's not breaking it. I don't know. Either way, you know, this is a pretty good demonstration on how to create your program in object-oriented style and reuse code. So everything in Squareshapes, you could create as many. You know, I don't know how many different square shapes there are, but if you called that, you could use all of its different methods. And so you're only creating this code one time instead of, you know, running your area calculations for each of these and then displaying them like you would in a procedural program. So anyway, this video is done.